YouTubers, this is me again, and kind of like I did last week, I did this kind of different reading for the next week. I've once again found a different reading, same book that I had last week. It's once again Tarot Face to Face by Marcus Katz and Callie Goodwin. There's a lot of interesting ideas in this one. This particular one is called the Spiritual Pyramid Spread. And basically what you're doing is you're shuffling the deck and laying out in 10 cards in a kind of a pyramid shape. And they relate to the 4 levels of the Kabbalah, or 4 worlds. I don't know much about the Kabbalah. Some people probably know more about it than I would, and I would love to hear your comments about it. But this is what it's based on. The first row, which is made up of the 1 card at the top of the pyramid. You start at the top and work your way down. And the first card in that first one is what is the spiritual core that informs me at this time, or what we're going to probably be doing is what's informing you this week on a spiritual level. Okay? Or what I am being called to do for this week. The second and third cards, which are in the second row, down from the top, is what must I create in my life. And the fourth, fifth, and sixth card are what resources is the typo in the book. Lovely. What resources are What resources do the spiritual universe provide for me to accomplish the above? Or what does the spiritual universe provide for me to actually get what I'm being told that I'm being called to do this week? And then the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th card, what elements of my life must be drawn together to manifest my spiritual life? How does my spiritual life connect to me on a basic level? Since this is the base of the pyramid, it does make sense. It is the basic. They also can be read as the 4 components from each section of your life, like the 4 suits. They might be represented equally in the 4 cards. Okay, so let's see what you got for this week. Okay, the first card that I'm now flipping over is the Lovers, and in my particular deck, it's Brahma and Saraswati. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing them, but that's the card I'm getting. It was right side up, so it's more like an external coming in. Brahma and Saraswati, this is not exactly, the Lovers card in this particular deck, I wouldn't say it's a misinterpretation of the Lovers, but it's a different interpretation than most decks that I see. The story of Brahma and Saraswati, their story isn't necessarily about love per se. It's more about a choice between earthly love and, well, not only heavenly love, it's also between love and duty. Brahma had a duty as a king to protect his reputation, and he had to make a choice between his love for his wife, his queen, his earthly love, in order to remain loved by his people and to keep the kingdom going. So the spiritual core that you're learning about this week is going to be about making some big, maybe not so much big choices, but choices between love and duty. That is going to be the main theme of this week spiritually, is for you, love and duty. Maybe you're a pastor making a decision to retire from your flock because your wife is sick with cancer. I'm not making light of that. I'm actually going through something similar right now with my own family, but I'm not a pastor or anything, but never mind. That's the kind of choices that you're making. They're life-changing for you personally, and you have to make. It's all about choices, and it's maybe, I don't know, leaving your job because it's financially secure for you, but it's ruining your relationship with your spouse. It's pretty heavy on the spousal thing. Yeah, it's a choice. It's big on choices right now. You're making big choices. Same word coming up and all the way up again. Yes, that's my cat in the background. See, there he is. Anyway, so the second and third cards is what must I create in my life. So these things you probably don't necessarily have right now, but these are things that you want to create. And these are, once again, they're upside down, which is kind of interesting, because these are internal wants. They're not necessarily things that the world wants for you, and well, your main focus is basically outwards right now. But these are your wants for your inside self, and they're two very different wants. They're two opposed, not exactly opposing, but they're two very different. And the cards that I'm getting are very different cards. The first card is the Page of Cups, a water card, a very dynamic card, also a male. He's swimming in the ocean with. He's not necessarily in the flow with things. He's kind of in the middle, in the midst of all the motions, exploring them and seeing how they work. And in the Knight of Pentacles is your other desire. She is a she. She's on the opposite end of the gender spectrum, but she's also an earth-bound feature. She's very still. She's not really moving. She's examining it. They're both examining things very closely, examining their element very closely. She's examining the pentacle, the earth, the physical, very tactile. She has her eyes closed. He has his eyes open. They're both exploring their elements very deeply, in very different ways, yet in the same way. These are two elements of yourself that you want to explore more deeply. They're explored in different ways, but you want to explore them both at the same time. You want to explore your emotions. You want to really get deeply involved in them, but you want to be involved in this one very much as well. So that you might want to finding a balance with that. You want to examine the physicality of things, but you also want to examine the emotions part of it as well. And this might be there's choices is a big theme for you. Physical and earthly love versus heavenly and abstract. These are the kind of things that are going to be going on this week, and these are the things you want to do both. And you're saying this is going to be a big thing this week, is making choices between both of them. You want to do both of them equally, and they both appeal to you in different ways. Okay? Okay, so and then the third layer, the fourth, fifth, and sixth cards, which is what resources the spiritual universe is providing you with to accomplish the above. So maybe they're wanting you to accomplish both, or probably more practically, they're giving you the tools to do both, but they're giving you a choice. They're saying, okay, you can do both, and we're giving you the tools to do both, but we want you to choose between the two. Let's see. Because it's not an equal, maybe you're more inclined to do one or the other. They're giving you, and once again, these are internal cards as well. All three of them come up internal, so they're more personal, I think. And there's some big players here. The first one I got was actually, this isn't the first one. You've got two major arcana cards involved here, which makes a lot of sense, because the spiritual realms are giving you these things, these tools to help you do what you're supposed to be doing on an internal level in the material world. They're interacting very heavily, and the main and I noticed they're all female cards as well, which is very interesting in certain ways, because there was a very heavy dynamic between the male and the female in the last section. The Magician card is Caradwin. Caradwin. It's a beginning card. It's also she's learning her magic. She's taking steps to learn her magic. She's on both ends of the spectrum. So I'm kind of seeing this as a card that can be used for. This isn't necessarily pointing you towards one direction or the other. It's just saying. And they've got three animals around them that are going to be your animal helpers. Maybe they're sending you teachers. Is what I'm getting a lot here. They're sending you a teacher or a couple teachers, and that could work with either one of these paths that you're going to be taking this week. They're sending you some teachers, and they're big ass teachers too. They're like heavy hitters. I'm getting a lot of heavy hitters here. They're pointing you in either one direction or the other, or either one. All these teachers are very willing to work with you on either path that you're taking, but they're big teachers, and they can really help you on either path you want to take. It just depends on the other tools that they're giving you. This other card is Sedna, Death. Once again, a very heavy-hitting theme in a lot of people's lives right now. An ending. They're going to end something. They're going to make it quite clear which one of these paths is going to be right for you. They're going to be like cutting off your ties with someone. Not necessarily in the physical death. Maybe in the physical death, and there might be someone that actually does kick the bucket. And it kind of makes it obvious which one you have to choose. But endings, they're going to make it very obvious which path you're going to be wanting to choose. So they're giving you the choice, but they're also nudging you in the right direction. That's what Sedna is all about. She's also she's also a creation goddess, not only a death goddess, but a creation goddess. Her blood, her sacrifice, actually created the sea creatures. So sacrificing this one thing is a big boon to you. You sacrifice one thing to get a bigger jump start in another area. And the third card that you get for this one, the other tool that they're going to give you is Queen of Pentacles. Calendars are big things coming up. A calendar, a list, putting things in their right place. Queen of Pentacles, she's got her and Senna have got a lot in common, in my opinion, anyway. Everything has its right time, and we all have we have multiple faces that we put out to the world at different times. And I'm also seeing this as a person. Not necessarily a teacher, but someone that puts things into perspective. Maybe you're reeling from this, and then someone comes along and puts it in perspective, and you find your own way. Like she's got the talking stick right now, and you better listen to her. Because she's not a teacher necessarily, but she is a place marker. She's like the hero goes through a big turmoil at the beginning of his story, and there's this wise woman that points him in the right direction. He's not necessarily going to go with him on his travels to give him advice throughout his travels, but he's going to point you in the right direction. She's going to point you in the right direction, whichever. But there's lots of feminine energy here. Both in the loss and in the gain, and there's lots of death, lots of ending in this. White Buffalo Woman and Sedna are very big death characters, very big ending characters, and also they're very big beginning characters, and they're very stern in the way that they view things. They're very black and white, in a way. They're very stark characters, and if you treat them properly, you'll get great gifts out of it. But if you treat them improperly, they can come back to bite you. Those are the kinds of things that they're giving you. They're giving you some heavy hitters, but if they hit the wrong way, you can get get really nasty really quickly. Okay, so those are the two that the spiritual world has given you. Good luck. That's yeah. What elements in my life must be drawn together to make my spiritual life? Well, and okay, and these are kind of a mix between upwards and downwards cards. The first card I got was Poseidon, the King of Cups. On an emotional level, you need to have control over your emotions. You're gonna be dealing with a lot of emotions this week, and a lot of movement, a lot of upheaval, and a chance for a lot of chaos to be brought into the picture. And you're gonna need to be in control of that. Not only control, but you need to be aware of it and accepting of it, because he's got his eyes closed in this card. He's not looking at it to make sure everything's okay. He knows everything's okay, and he's got everything under control, or everything else knows what to do, and he's just there as a standby in case something goes wrong. Everything is working out around him, and you need to have that level of trust. With maybe delegations. Maybe you're dealing with one item of your list, and you have other people dealing with other things, and you need to keep them in check. But you also need to not worry about them. You need to know the people that are taking they're being taken care of by other people. Okay, and oddly enough, this is the one card in my deck that is disappeared recently. And it's a sun card, and it's raw in my particular deck. And it's I don't have him off the top of my head, but the sun can be a great card in small doses, and just as the sun in us can be yes, okay. And the sun in my card, in my deck, I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is what it looks like. It's not a very good picture, at least not what I'm seeing, but it's raw, the sun, raw, and it's the ultimate source of energy. They've got lots of interpretations on that. And the sun, once again I say it's great in small doses, and the source of energy, you need to bring your source of energy into this. Whatever gives you, you need rock. You need some sort of constant in order to bring your spiritual thing into life. You need to bring your whole army. People that are going to be next to you, your generals, everything. You need to bring everything to this. You can't bring half your heart into this in order to bring it into being. You need to bring everything into it. And that can lead to a lot of risk. Then it can lead to a lot of things that might go wrong. This goes back to the trust thing. You need to trust that things are going to work out. In other areas, you need to be able to delegate these things, but you also need to bring everything into it. Meaning that you sometimes have to leave certain things that you can't take care of right now. You need to leave them in other people's hands, and you need to trust them to take care of things, keep them in your best interest. Okay? Alright. And oddly enough, all elements are pretty much represented in this. Pretty much. But anyway, the next card is the Ladybug. I love this card. It's not particularly special, but it's simple, but I do like the Ladybug as the Four of Wands. The song comes to mind, Ladybug, Ladybug, fly away home, your house is on fire and your children all gone, or something like that. It relates to the fact that when you put a ladybug somewhere, it won't stay there. It'll go about a mile in a particular direction. I can't remember off the top of my head which direction. But a ladybug will go in that about a mile in that direction and then set up shop. You can't really put a ladybug anywhere. It has to decide to stay, or it has to decide to go where it wants to go. But wherever it goes, it will return to. But it's their choice. So another aspect of yourself that you do need to bring into this is your discernment, your ability to discern whether or not this is a good area to be in, or your fight or flight kind of thing. Is that your discernment, your ability to judge the areas in your life and bring your whole thought process into it. Because the wands are fire, and well, not only discernment. If you're talking about fire, it's your spirit, your intuition. You need to bring all that to bear when you're making this very large decision. And if somehow your teachers or someone puts you in a place you don't think is right, you need to leave. Like, fly away, ladybug. Your home's not here. It's a silly song, but it does bring it into something quite deep. But anyway, that's pretty much what I'm getting into with that card. It's like, don't build your house just because it's where you end up. Just really check around and use your intuition and say, you know, this isn't the right place where I'm supposed to be. I need to fly away a mile this way. I need to fly away this way. Something of that nature. Or I just need to settle myself in the right place, because it's a mile. It's not really a long distance. It's in the same area, but it's not in the right area. So maybe your teachers or your life are going to get you close to where you want to be. They're going to get you in the vicinity, but it's you yourself that has to discern whether or not you're in the right area or not. Okay? And the fourth card and last card is, oddly enough, it was a wrong side up card. Well, not wrong side up, but upside down card. So this is a more internal judgment. You need to bring your mental judgment to bear on this particular situation this week. You need to really think about it and not just take things like external what people are telling you externally. Just take it into yourself and say, I need to really think about this. Sleep on it. So, as it looks like he's actually do something and then see how everything else responds to it. Take an action and then see how that responds to that. Make a judgment call. That sort of thing. That's what it's saying. It's not just don't think about the issue. Don't get too wrapped up in your head and get lost in your head, but actually do something and make a determination in that way. So that was a pretty heavy-duty reading. About 23 minutes long. Oh my god! And I actually didn't ramble too much, and I won't ramble now. Really, I won't. Anyway, so thank you guys for listening, all 17 of my subscribers. I do love you guys, and I'm sorry I've lost one subscriber. I don't particularly know why. Maybe they just didn't care for me rambling on about random things. But thank you guys for listening to me and wanting to hear about your reading for the week. And I would love to hear your questions, your comments, and everything else in the comment section below this video. I'd love to see if people actually want a reading from me in a separate section or whatever. But just leave a comment, message me, please. I'm always online. I really am. I have really no life outside of the internet, so I'm always here. Alright. Alright, talk to you guys later, and hope you guys have a nice, interesting week. Bye for that.